the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Beneficent. Now with the main headlines. Muslims complain about unfair treatment in Korean employment market. Pakistan reveals plan to expel documented immigrants amid crackdown on undocumented foreigners. UN's General Comment number 26 officially launched in Bangkok. Islamic relief to provide life-saving aid in earthquake-hit Nepal. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. This is Ayub Nouinou and you are watching Shia Waves live from Imam Hussein TV 3. Muslims in Korea face discrimination when applying for jobs despite Korea's efforts to bring in more international workforce and fight against labour shortage. According to sources, Korean employers sometimes hold Muslim immigrants' complexion, wearing of hijab and observing certain religious practices against them, leaving them with few part-time job options such as working in restaurants or packaging. Questions about dietary restrictions often asked during interviews with Muslim candidates help employers identify their Muslim identity. Some Muslims say it is frustrating when they are evaluated based on their background and not on their individual capabilities or qualifications. In 2019, the Korean Muslim Federation estimated that there were about 135,000 Muslims in Korea, according to the US Department of State. Pakistan's decision to expel more than 1.5 million allegedly undocumented Afghan refugees and migrants has once again triggered tensions with the Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. Pakistan says most Afghans have left voluntarily, a claim rejected by Kabul, which has called the Pakistani action unilateral and humiliating. At the center of the deteriorating relations between the neighboring nations is Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, a banned armed group also referred to as the Pakistani Taliban for its ideological proximity to the Taliban rulers in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, talking to media in Islamabad, the JUIF chief said Afghan refugees will have to ultimately leave Pakistan, but the issue is being mishandled. He further called for a bilateral commission to discuss and resolve the issue between both countries. To discuss this further, we have with us live international relations expert Rustam Ali from Rome. Assalamu alaikum. In your opinion, why are the Pakistani authorities cracking down on the Afghan refugees who have fled persecution in their country to seek shelter in the neighboring Pakistan?
Well, Pakistan's government explanation is twofold. One, they say they link between the refugees who are in Pakistan and the TTP attacks on the Pakistani government and armed forces, which is not a very compelling reasoning. And the second is that Afghanistan refugees and migrants are stifling Pakistan's welfare, which is also hard to be substantiated because there is not much welfare to offer to Afghanistan immigrants. Pakistan is going through a very harsh economic crisis these days. And migrants for the new government, which is in power in Pakistan, migrants and refugees in Afghanistan create a scapegoating to blame the migrants and refugees who are from Afghanistan and living in Pakistan for the insecurities in Pakistan and also for the economic problems which they have inside their country. Also, there are other speculation as well, which are the one is speculation is that Pakistan is pressurizing the Taliban to recognize the international border, the UN line as an international border between the Pakistan and Afghanistan, which the Taliban Minister of Foreign Affairs, Muttaqi, did not approved, did not confirm that, but he also did not reject it. There might be some issue in that regard as well.
So you've mentioned what's happening on the ground, but what efforts can be made by the international community to avoid extreme tension between the two countries?
There could not be a lot of tension between the Pakistan and the Taliban government because the Taliban government is quite in a very precarious situation now. They are suffering from the crisis of legitimacy. The Taliban are not recognized as official government of Afghanistan. The Taliban also have their officials have their family members in Pakistan. So there is the Taliban, from the Taliban side, it could not be escalated to any tension. But the risk exists that the Taliban government might use this influx of refugees from Pakistan to Afghanistan to resettle them in the areas which were opposing the Taliban. For example, in the northern region of Afghanistan, among the Tajik ethnic community and Uzbek community, also in the central Hazarajat, Afghanistan, among the Shia Hazaras, who were historically opposing the Taliban. And this actually creates an opportunity for the Taliban to do that. There are signs of this because in the northern region of Afghanistan, there is a canal, a water canal, which is built called Kushtepa, which the people will be resettled around that. And lots of local people who are living in those areas, they are fearing that the Taliban are bringing their loyalists and their people from that side of the border to the northern Afghanistan in order to suppress any future uprising against the Taliban.
Mr. Sirat, thank you very much for joining us here on Shia Waves News. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Rustam Ali Sirat joining us live from Rome. In the presence of the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child, General Comment number 26 was formally launched in Southeast Asia today in an event hosted by UNICEF, East Asia and Pacific Regional Office in Bangkok. The new General Comment, which was published in August, explicitly addresses the climate emergency and the related obligations of states to protect the lives and well-being of children under the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child for the first time. Young advocates from Cambodia and Vietnam also connected virtually to share their climate advocacy experiences and highlight the need for urgent action to address the biodiversity loss and increasing pollution. Let us remind our respected viewers of today's headlines. Muslims complain about unfair treatment in Korean employment market. Pakistan reveals plans to expel documented immigrants amid crackdown on undocumented foreigners. UN's General Comment number 26 officially launched in Bangkok. Also tonight, Indonesian ministry translates Quran to 26 regional languages. UK-based charity Islamic Relief has made an appeal to raise help for Nepalese families struggling to survive winter cold after earthquakes killed at least 157 people and destroyed thousands of homes. The latest reports from the Nepalese government are that over 35,300 houses have been fully or partially destroyed in the hardest hit districts. A staggering 1.3 million people have been affected, according to the United Nations estimates, which indicate that around 250,000 people may need humanitarian aid. And now we continue some short news. The Islamic Federation for Religious Affairs in Germany announced that 81 mosques in Germany have been attacked in different ways since the beginning of 2023. The Secretary General of the Federation, Ayub Kayal, said that half of these attacks took place after the Israeli-Palestinian war on Gaza. Among the attacks reported by the Federation were the drawing of Nazi symbols on the walls of mosques and throwing copies of the Holy Quran in front of mosques after burning them in unknown places. The Madagascar-based Ahlul Bayt Center, one of the institutions affiliated to the Shirazi Supreme Religious Authority, has organized an intensive educational course for the elderly. The educational program included intensive courses on Islamic legal rulings, Islamic beliefs and narrations. Such instructive courses are based on the instructions and recommendations of His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi to spread the knowledge and teachings of Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them. Within its monthly intellectual activities, Al-Mustaqbal Center for Strategic Studies held a symposium headlined The Iraqi Public Opinion, Readings of Changing Attitudes Towards the American Policies. The scientific session, organized at Al-Nabas Foundation Center in Holy Karbala, was attended by a number of research centers, directors, lawyers, academic figures and journalists. Dr. Kahtan Hussein Tahir, a university professor and researcher at Al-Mustaqbal Center, presented his study on the topic. Indian and Pakistani soldiers exchanged gunfire and shelling along their highly militarized frontier in disputed Kashmir, killing an Indian border guard. Authorities in the Indian-controlled portion of Kashmir said Pakistani soldiers fired mortars and machine guns at border posts in the southern Jammu area on Wednesday night, and that one of its border guards was killed. Africa is estimated to lose about $30 billion or 15% of its GDP annually to climate change effects by 2030, an international financial expert said on Thursday. In an address to participants from about 32 countries of the Association of Africa Development Finance Institutions, Thabo Thamane warned that besides the dire consequences that African nations may face if no action is taken against climate change, other parts of the world may also suffer. The Indonesian Religious Affairs Ministry has translated the Holy Quran into as many as 26 regional languages through its Research and Development Center, according to a local news outlet. Muhammad Isham, head of the project, explained that the 26 regional languages were regional languages spread across the islands of Sumatra, Java, Kalimantan, Sulawesi and Bali, adding that the agency is still exploring other languages in other islands. He explained that the Quran translation program aims to preserve culture and to help people understand the Holy Book in their native language. The World Health Organization unveiled a new framework on Thursday for building climate-resilient and low-carbon health systems to strengthen their climate resilience and decarbonize depending on their capabilities. According to the international organization, it is designated or designed to enhance health systems resilience while reducing greenhouse gas emissions to help safeguard health communities worldwide. The framework is intended mainly for public health professionals and managers to help guide decision makers in other health-determining sectors such as nutrition, water and sanitization, and emergency management. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's remind our viewers of today's headlines. Muslims complain about unfair treatment in Korean employment market. Pakistan reveals plans to expel documented immigrants amid crackdown on undocumented foreigners. UN's General Comment number 26 officially launched in Bangkok. Islamic relief to provide life-saving aid in earthquake-hit Nepal. Indonesian ministry translates Quran to 26 regional languages. WHO releases framework for development of climate-resilient, low-carbon health systems. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves' website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Please contact us on the numbers at the bottom of the screen. This is the end of today's news. Thank you all for watching. We pray to Allah Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
filming season may have come to an end, but the love of Imam Hussein alayhi salam remains eternal. Imam Hussein Tours presents an unmissable ziyarah trip. Join us this December and embark on a journey of faith and discovery. Experience the transformative power of visiting the holy shrines in Iraq,